Welcome back to a Distracted Handyman's Diary. Today, as promised in an earlier video, I'm going to repair this old tap, and I got this little fixer tap kit. I've got this little tool which we'll learn a little bit more about later, and hopefully we're going to get it to look like brand new. So let's get stuck into it. Alright, so first things first, I've clamped my tap into my little leg vise, or my big leg vise. If you've got soft jaws for your vise, it's probably a good idea because the tap's only brass, so it'll easily become damaged. And I've just cracked it so that it can now be separated into two parts. There's the little plunger, which is what stops the tap from leaking, and that's the part in this that's most likely damaged. And then we have the top of the tap. These are all the proper plumbing names. There's an O-ring in there. And another O-ring there. There's a washer here. There you go, O-ring, O-ring, washer. And we're also going to look inside the tap itself to make sure that there's a smooth base inside, so that when the plunger goes down, it actually seals nicely. So all of these things we're going to look at, and we're going to tidy it up and make it look new again. As you can see, it's already starting to look shinier and newer. Got a little cutting compound stuff that I get. I don't know what it's called. It's like a waxy substance. You put it on the cloth rollers, and it just helps to bring things up and make them look shiny again. Now that's looking a whole lot better already. Just almost looks brand new, lovely and shiny. There was a whole lot of paint stuck on it. Got most of that off. Got most of the thread tape off. I'll work on that. I'll get the rest off. I'll have a look inside there. We can still see there's a bit of rust and stuff inside there, so we need to work on that. But for now I'm going to move on to this piece here. So now I'm going to remove these two washers, or O-rings, sorry. Just going to use this little scribe tool to try and get them out. You can cut them off, but just need to be careful you don't damage the actual tap itself, because that will make it less likely to be waterproof. Alright, so the two washers up. Now I'm going to try and get that big washer off as well. I usually find these washers sort of kind of screw off. There it goes. So that's gone. So all these parts are going to be discarded, and it's back to its naked self. You can also see a little bit of oil or something in there. It's actually grease. The little kit comes with a bit of grease for the O-rings as well, but we'll show that when I go to assemble them. Alright, so there's the nice shiny bits of my tapware. So it's looking all nice and shiny. It's cleaned up, ready to start fixing to make it work like new. Alright, so I'm just using a bit of plumbing tape I'm using a wire brush to get rid of the last of the bits of plumbing tape that are hanging in the thread there. Don't go too hard because it is only brass, you don't want to damage the thread. Same here, only a bit left. Okay, beautiful. Okay, now it's time to explain this little tool here. Alright, let's get that into focus. So as you can see, it's a sort of a cutting edge. It's got a thread on it. What it actually does is you just wind this all the way down. Put it into your tap like that. And you bring this down. Wind it down, wind it down, wind it down until you feel it just a bite. And then you turn this. What it does is it just cuts away the bottom of the tap pipe. As you can see in there, it looks all lovely and shiny and new. Okay, what that does, that just flattens out the mating surface for this. So there's a nice joint, gets rid of all those nasty sharpy edges that may have built up over the years. Alright, all the bits for putting the tap back together. There's 4 washers, more than I need. I only need 1. There's 4 O-rings, I only need 2. There's some lubricating O-ring oil, spindle oil, grease, clear grease I guess. And there's 4 of these little things, I call them plungers. Let's see what the instructions call them. Tap valves. Okay, so I'm putting a tiny little bit of grease into that there, probably more than I need. Okay, slide on my new O-rings. There's the 2 new O-rings in. Grease is actually quite thick. Alright, now I'm just going to put a bit of plumbing tape on. Put my tap seal on. Slide the valve in. And start to do it up. Just putting my tap back in the vise. Tighten. Okay, so there's our tap all back together. I'm going to screw it back, lid back in, and you just nip it up. You don't need to tighten it hard, because that's what ruins the valves. It's just nip it up. It's all nice and tidy. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a polish, just to get it looking finished. And there, that's as good as new, ready for the next time I need to replace a tap.